Shalom. I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem HaKakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to the brothers that's teaching this truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect and 1/3 and sincere listeners. All right. Today's lesson is going to be based off of this Psalms here, Psalms 26. And really the inspiration from this scripture I pretty much came from what happened. Not to say nothing happened to me earlier today, but basically I had to wake my little bro up for breakfast or whatever. He had to wake up, and I went into his room. He's 11, so he's almost 12, but technically not under the law yet. But anyways, I went into his room, and he's lying down. He's reading the Bible. He has the Bible in his hand, King James Version. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, what are you reading? He's like, yeah, the Bible. I'm like, okay, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Like, and that's just on him. Like, that's just on him, you know? And obviously, you know, his mom has him, like, you know, in the church and stuff like that. So whatever he's reading is Bible. But I still look at it from a spiritual aspect because, you know, I still try and guide him, show him proper principles according to the Bible in that sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't push for it though, the truth on him in the sense of, you know what I mean? Because that's, you know, that's for, you know, that's not to say it's not my place, but all I can do is be a living example. All I can do is be the light. And all I can do is encourage him to read the scriptures. And from when I saw him reading the scriptures, and he said he's reading Psalms 26, you know what I mean? I was like, you know what? Let me just make this a lesson anyways at the end of the day. Because, you know, I'm not saying he doesn't know what's going on, you know, because the Lord deals with his people, however, at whatever level and magnitude. I'm not saying he's in the truth. I'm not saying my little brother's in the truth or not. But regardless, I took it as a sign for me to even just do a lesson on this chapter. You know what I mean? You know, I do pray that the Lord have mercy on him. You know what I mean? And I pray that he is of the elect, you know. At the end of the day, I love my little brother at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But nonetheless, I just took it as a sign that, you know, why not do a quick little video on that, you know, and see where the Spirit takes me. But yeah, so Psalms 26:1, judge me, O Lord, Yahweh, for I have walked in mine integrity. I have trusted also in the Lord, Yahweh, therefore I shall not slide. Okay, and mind you, he's reading this in the King James Version, all right? I gotta put that out there. You know what I mean? What 11-year-old is reading the King James Version? He's reading that. You know? Because I'm even contemplating to just break it down in the NLT real quick. Because it's straight to the point. But I might go through the King James and then let's go through the NLT after the fact, all right? And we'll see where the Spirit takes me with that. It's a quick chapter, you know what I mean? So examine me, O Lord Yahweh, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart. Right. So, you know, really you want the Lord to test you and try you in this walk. So that way, why? So you can be built up and get stronger and you can pass the test, man. And really pass the final test, the hour of temptation. Okay, which is the MOTB, the life or death test, man. The final countdown, man. All right. It says, for thy love and kindness is before mine eyes, and I have walked in thy truth. I have not sat with vain persons, neither will I go in with dissemblers. And really, you know, when you're really walking upright with Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you don't want to be around vain people, okay, and hypocrites and bullshitters and liars and wicked. You don't want to be around the wicked. Let's just put it that way. Okay, what's that scripture say? Man, it's slipping my mind right now. It's cool though. It's cool. roughly paraphrasing, like basically, what fellowship do we have with what does the unrighteous have with the or does the righteous have with the unbelievers? You know what I mean? Let me try and see if I can find that now, because it's gonna bother me. Yeah, there it is. I want the whole thing. Why are you not giving me the whole thing? So it says, Second Corinthians 6:14. So be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? You get what I'm trying to say? So as a perfect precept for that. Okay, I have not sat with vain persons, neither will I go in with dissemblers. Okay, we ain't got nothing to talk about if you ain't walking upright with through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? You know, really, we're in the time of drawing the line in the stand. All right, it's either you right or you wicked. That's it. There ain't no in between. There ain't no lukewarm. Remember, the Lord said He's not dealing with no lukewarm. You know what I'm trying to say? Behavior. All right. I have hated the congregation of evildoers and will not sit with the wicked. Exactly. So see, got will. You know, the scripture got turned up a little 10 times fold. You know what I'm saying? I will wash my hands in innocency. That's it. So I will compass thine altar, O Lord Yahweh. Right? Because that's what we want to do, man. We want to be innocent. We want to be found without blemish. Okay? On the altar. All right? So that, you know, yes, we are a living sacrifice, but we pray that the Lord, you know, find mercy on us, man, at the end of the day. That I may publish with the voice of thanksgiving. Right. What do you mean? What does it mean to publish? Okay. To push out this word. Right now I'm publishing an epistle, so to speak, a video as I do this video, man. When we're on the highways and byways, we're publishing who? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Who else? The truth, the gospel, all right, for the Israelites. Okay? The kingdom of heaven for the Israelites, right? We're pushing that out. We're publishing that. Okay, every time we hit record, that's a publishing. Okay? And you know, yeah. I was gonna say something, but I'm just gonna leave it for a topic that I have, you know, in my notes that I gotta bring out in the spirit. Lord Yahweh, I have loved the habitation of thy house and the place where thine honor dwelleth. Gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men. Jeez. Now, you don't want to be linked up with the two, man. Like I said, can two walk together lest they be agreed, man? At the end of the day. You know? That's really what it is. And we can't be agreed. Yeah, I'm going to get that too. Blue letter. Give me that. Amos 3:3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? You know? Will a lion roar in the forest when he hath no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he hath taken nothing? Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no gin is for him? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Right? So all of these are basically, can two walk together unless they be agreed? And you know, you gotta be able to answer these questions, man. The only way we can walk together is if they be agreed. Okay? If we don't agree, how, you know? So this is can two walk together unless they be agreed? Yeah. Okay. When a lion in the forest, when he hath no, will a lion roar in the forest when he hath no prey? Yeah. Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have taken nothing? Yeah. Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth where no jinn is for him? Yeah. Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? Yeah. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Of course the people are going to be afraid. Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord Yahweh hath not done it? Of course the Lord did it. All right? These are like rhetorical questions that the Lord is asking. Surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants the prophets. Okay? The lion hath roared, who will not fear? Everybody's gonna fear, man. Okay? Or especially if men were fearing back then, what about now when men are weaker through age? Okay? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai in the times to come, the elect won't fear. All right, the elect will get spiritual. Whoever those elect members are will get spiritual powers to communicate with the animals. Right before even getting the new bodies, right? But even now, we're putting ourselves in a mindset that we can't fear anything. And if let's just say you're out in the wilderness, and maybe you live in a major city with a zoo. Okay, we're here in Toronto, and we have a big zoo. Okay, and the animals in that, the Lord has it to where he puts the spirit on those animals to escape the zoo. And you're seeing lions in the wilderness. You come across a lion, right? The scriptures that you read, that you put in your mind to read, should be like a bear met him, and teeth of wild beasts, right? Those scriptures are actually meant to comfort you, ironically enough. If you're of the elect, if you're of the righteous, if you're of the elect, those scriptures are actually meant to comfort you, right? Because that's going to happen, right? And really is only one or two things. Easier said than done, right? Easier said than done, but it's either the Lord is with you or he's not, right? And you just got to have faith that he's with you. And that's all we can do. You know what I mean? That's all we can do. Because if you're in the wilderness and you come across a lion, a bear, all you can do is have faith that the Lord is with you. Right? That maybe you can communicate with the animals and the animals bow down. Right? There might be brothers where they come into it, that will be their testimony, where they came across a wild beast, some ferocious animal, man. And, they're on the run, but the animal came to them. They bowed down in front of them, right? Because these are the things to come. These are the things you got to put in your mind to know that this is coming. The animal, the lion or the bear bow down in front of them. And then you praise Yahweh Shem Shai. And as you're praising Yahweh Shem Shai, the animal is bowing down, in front of you, going back to its natural order from the time of Adam, right? And then you're being you're being chased by centurions and whoever trying to get you. And while the motherfuckers is trying to chase you, the Lord puts a spirit on these animals to go and fucking attack the people that's chasing you, man. That's gonna be some brother's testimony. You know what I mean? It might be mine. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But that's gonna be a brother's testimony, and we're definitely gonna want to hear that in the kingdom, man. We're gonna love to want to hear that in the kingdom. That's gonna be crazy. Okay. All right. Let's go back. It says, where are we? Yep, the publish. Lord, all right, verse 8. Lord, Yahweh, I have loved the habitation of thy house and the place where thine honor dwelleth. Gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men, right? In whose hands is mischief, and their right hand is full of bribes. But as for me, right? And really, like the way I'm breaking it down for brothers and bringing insight, obviously, starting with our apostles and elders on down, because that's what we learn from, right? You think I could have sat my brother down, and of course I could have, but like at the same time, I teach him. I lead by example through the scriptures, like let your light shine before men, and that's how I try and exemplify myself in front of my brother. That's my brother. You know what I mean? But I'm not trying to like, but I ain't trying to surpass my authority over, um, it's balance, right? You gotta have balance, right? That's for the parents to quote unquote, not to say they implement their will, but obviously I know I'm right, but it's a balance, right? It's a power struggle. At the same time, you want to do what's right for your family and show them what's right, but it's not meant for them, right? You see, the thing is, when it comes to the young, when you teach the young, it's easier for it to stick, right? It's easier for morals and values to stick. Fear of the Lord, fear of you, fear of elders, fear of people older than them. It's easier to stick when children are young, because they're powerless, right? You have power over them, and not to say in a malicious way, it's just righteously. You have power over them righteously, in righteousness. But there is a wicked realm where people have power over children in a wicked, demonic, depraved. Oh man, and that's why we need Yahweh Hashem Yahshua to come back, man. Because you have people that are bugged out, man. Men, women, children. Men that were children that been through a lot of trauma. Men and women that were children that have been through a lot of trauma, and now they're adults with a lot of trauma, putting that trauma on other people, continuing the cycle. That's why we need Yahweh Hashem Yahshua to come back and get rid of all wickedness, man. Because especially our people, the Israelites, okay? Because we're number one when it comes to trauma, okay? Verse 11, but as for me, I will walk in mine integrity, redeem me, and be merciful unto me. My foot standeth in an even place. In the congregations will I be blessed. In the congregations will I bless the Lord, Yahweh. And that's that, man. Let's see if I can run through this one quick, because the spirit be jumping on brothers, man. The spirit be jumping on you. And you be reading stuff, you go into one dimension, you get to the next dimension. I'm not trying to go too deep, but you know how it gets sometimes. Psalms 26:1. Psalm of David, declare me innocent, O Lord. Whew, that's wow, you're right there. Declare, this is already starting off a little different. I'm not gonna lie to you, but yeah, that's a fact. Declare me innocent. I want to be innocent. We want to be expunged of all sins, so to speak. O Lord Yahweh, for I have acted with integrity, right? Because our integrity, right, to Yahweh Hashem Yahshai is what's gonna get us saved. Our faith. When through our integrity and our faith, we're gonna do the works. So that is what's gonna get us saved, right? We're in the flesh. We're mortals. We're not perfect, so we do sin. But it's our mindset. It's like, damn, Lord, if I could, I would do better. If I could, if I had the body up, if I could be perfect, Lord, make me perfect. But we're subject to sin, right? But it's the integrity. What's this guy's heart? What's this guy's character? You know what I mean? Is he really, you know what I'm saying? Is he really like that? Or if you put Jake in a proper environment, is he really a wicked ass nigga? If you put, you know what I'm saying? If you put Jake in a thriving environment, for the most part, he's not a wicked ass nigga. All right. And the way I see it though, part of the reason why Jake, even after slavery and stuff, even before slavery, I would say a heavy reason why Jake fell was because of adultery, idol worship, pretty much idol worship and adultery. I would say that was the main thing. jealousy, envy, murder. That's what made Jake fall, man. At the end of the day, even after post-slavery, it was probably adultery and idol worship. And that's what made Jake fall again after slavery. Because remember, we left, we had our own towns, cities, did our own thing, built it up, did what we had to do. Esau comes in, integration, fucks us over, MLK, all that BS, right? So there were certain sins that were, at the end of the day, we're under our hand of our enemy anyway. So it wasn't meant for us to thrive with it. It was actually meant for us to be like, this is the positive. This is what we can do as a people if we work together, so to speak. But it was just a trial. It was just a fucking trial of what the Lord can do for you. Like, all right, this is what you guys can do without knowing me. Imagine what you can do when you do know me, right? So at the end of the day, fuck Black Wall Street. We we reverence it and we say, yeah, black people are doing their thing, da da da. But guess what? A whole bunch of adultery is probably going on over there. Idol worship, okay? Eating swine's flesh, right? So you really gotta believe. You gotta really know what was really going on. We're judges on both sides. Esau's a devil, we know, but Jake ain't innocent either, man. Jake actually caused this demise on himself. At the end of the day, right? Continuing on, it says, I have acted in integrity, I have trusted in the Lord without wavering. Put me on trial, Lord Yahweh, and cross-examine me. And as a judge, if the Lord is gonna cross-examine you, okay, you have to accept that. But if you're striving to be like the Lord, all right, Lord Yahweh Shai and Lord Yahweh, okay, then when you become a judge, you need to be cross-examining us in situations as well. Okay? You need to be judging matters and cross-examining this, that, getting the facts straight, and not moving like Esau in his Masonic police force. Okay? Trying to trick you out your spot. And I'm not saying, obviously we're not gonna do that. We're gonna operate in equity. You know what I mean? And if I'm probably have to get that word. I'm just saying it, but let me get that word. Equity. Let's get the definition, and then I can get the in finance. I'm not talking about finance, dude. All right. After I'm gonna get the Edom. A fairness or justice in the way people are treated. That's the main. See, finance, finance. That's fuck that. That's not what I want. But this is the definition anyway. This is a fairness. It's fairness. That's how we're gonna judge. We're gonna judge fairly, cross-examining, making sure we're not putting no innocent man to death, which is never gonna happen in the kingdom of heaven. Are you kidding me? Okay, but we just have to put that out there. Equity, Etam Online. So it says quality of being equal or fair, impartiality. Okay. So we're not going to be partial in our judgment. We can't be partial and we can't be impartial. Okay. That which is equally right or just according to the laws of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, of course. That which is equally right or just to all concerned. Okay. The laws are set in place, man. You see, in this world, in this realm, in this world, man, Esau has laws on laws, different laws in different lands, different wording for this law. The law in our kingdom is the law is the law. A lot of these laws that are in this world are going to be removed, relinquished, man. Anyways, From Old French, it says that which is equally right or just to all concerned. From Old French, equite. From Latin, the uniform relation of one thing to others. Equality, conformity, symmetry. Also just or equitable conduct. Just or equitable conduct towards others. So you best believe, after the 1,000 years, we're going to be just and equitable towards the heathen. Okay? Best believe that. All right? And that's what we're about. We're about justice. We're about fairness. We're about righteousness, man. But remember, the scriptures talk about double, man. Double unto our enemies, man. Double unto our oppressors. So double is coming for that. A double portion, which is in the spirit, of course. They got to drink of the dregs of the cup. Right? So judgment is coming. But after that, that's fair, man. And that's up to the Lord. The Lord is the one, the Lord is, everything is in the scales of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay? Just measures. From aqueous or aqueous, even, or accuse, even just equal. See, equal. In law, fairness in the adjustment of conflicting interests, the settlement of controversies by the dictates of good conscience. Of course, you think we're gonna be sleeping with a guilty conscience? And you know what's messed up though? Esau doesn't sleep with a guilty conscience because he's the wicked. So if he does wickedness, he sleeps good at night. He doesn't have a good conscience if he doesn't do no wickedness. So he has to do wickedness, and that's why he's able to sleep good at night. You see what I'm saying? But us now, we're doing this, the welfare of humanity, so quote unquote, is what you want to say. To put away evil from not only Israel no more, but the whole world. Because that's what we're going to have jurisdiction over. We're going to have jurisdiction over all the nations, right? And the whole earth, the animals, as Israelites, right? And we got to show the world what true righteousness and what true rulership is actually about. And, through us living well and swell, after the 1,000 years for the heathen, right? They're going to be living, better than what they could ever imagine in this friggin' realm. All right. So, but you got to go through the pain first. All right. We got to put away generations of evil out you guys, man. It says late 14th century. Because guess what? In the spirit, the way I'm looking at it is like the 70, or the 70 is gonna apply to the heathen, maybe for the first 1,000 years. Give or take. Depending on how the Lord allows it, He might have mercy on our concubines to live a little longer. We might have control. Who knows? I'm getting a little too deep, but that's for the Lord to decide and give us that information in the kingdom. But for you regular heathen that we're not dealing with, you're just servants and all that shit. Because you're gonna be coming with your little your friggin' your heresies, your damn religions and all that stuff. We can't have you living 1,000 years for the 1,000-year judgment, because then you're gonna try and pass on that knowledge to your people, man, to try and rebel. But you're gonna rebel anyways, and we're just gonna have fun and do what we gotta do. Bring judgment. We're gonna bring equity, right? That's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring equity to all, right? I come in equity. Now I come in peace. I come in equity. So equity means judgment, bro. Are you dumb? Equity is judgment. At the end of the day, when you apply equity to the law, it means judgment has to be set forth. Simple and plain. All right. Late 14th century, from Roman Naturalis, the general principle of justice, which corrected or supplemented the legal codes governed by benevolence, Well, that's another good word. I gotta, if I look that word up, that's another portal. So not portal, but a next dimension I mentioned earlier. So maybe that's for another day or for a brother to pick up. That's a topic right there. Benevolence. But continuing on, while justitia yields to another only what is strictly due. Lewis and Short. Geez, this one's kind of long. Hence, in England and US, also justice based on such principles, the system of jurisprudence as to what is fair and what is not, as if in England and US. As if they run off of that. But anyways, and fair what is not, and a court or jurisdiction in which these doctrines are applied. Okay. The Latin word also meant a quiet, tranquil state of mind, moderation, evenness of temper. And that's exactly how we gotta be as well. You know? That's deep. I didn't mean to even go this far with the word, bro. We just here though. We just here. From the 1620s, as an equitable right that which one is justly entitled, especially a right recognized by courts of equity that is not provided for in the common or statute law, such as certain property rights of wives. And as I'm reading this, it's funny because I actually went. It has nothing to do with whatever. It has something to do with it, but I was in the car with my dad actually, and we're on a road trip, not a road trip, but like going fishing. So we were just driving to whatever. And I was talking to him about certain things, and he said in the spirit, he's like, "Whoa, you should be a lawyer." He's like, "Yo, like son, you could be a lawyer, And I'm just realizing, like, when he said, I'm just realizing it now that's he said, but he said that in the spirit. He didn't even know that I'm a judge, like I'm a lawyer for, like I'm a, you know what I mean? Doesn't even know. Shoot, I might be Levi all this time. You know what I mean? Who knows? It's a joke. But you gotta have fun with this. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, whatever I was talking to him about, the spirit was on it for him to say that because it impressed him based off of the information I was giving him. And nothing to do with the scriptures for real, but just who I am, my spirit. He just said, like, "Yo, son, you could be a lawyer. You could have been a lawyer for real." But like in my mind, fuck being a lawyer in Esau's kingdom. You know what I'm trying to say? That's another topic for another, not even a topic for another day, but that's just another topic. All right, but we are lawyers, all right? And, Lord will, we're of the 144,000. You know what I mean? We're lawyers, judges, priests, prophets, all of that, man. Okay, we are multifaceted, multi-talented. The ordinary shares of a limited company, we're not just going to have good looks in the kingdom, we're not just have, the body and all that. We're going to be all of it. Well, you peon heathens, Esau, Edom, you're not even going to be able to match. You're not even going to be able to, of course he's not going to be able to match. He's done. Esau's done. But that's why they hate on Jake, because even Jake now, when you're multifaceted, you're multi-talented, all right, you're not a loser. You don't make your job your life. Even though you work a job, you don't make that your personality, your job title, your job position. Because most Jakes, they just work a job to pay their bills. That they don't make that their life. A lot of these Edomites, who are the perfect slaves for this world, Elamites as well. You Elamites are the perfect slaves as well. And I got to do a video on that, to follow up with the Edomites are the perfect slaves. Because you Elamites are the second in line, if not. You guys are, you're neck and neck for 1 and 2, Esau and Elam. All right, but when you're Jake, right, and, you're able to operate in certain realms, speak the code switch and speak a certain way, speak proper, in certain corporate settings, but you have a life, you have a swagger to you, and they know that, they see that, because you are Jake, you are salt of the earth. They hate on you for that. You know what I'm trying to say? They hate on you for that. And you can't help it. You really can't help it for being the salt of the earth, man. No matter how hard you know, at the end of the day, like it's like being friggin' Clark Kent or friggin' or being friggin' Tony Parker. They're working at the you know, they both worked at the friggin' news reporting station. The new, you know, the news, what do you call it? Newspaper, right? They both worked for a newspaper company. One was a photographer. One was, I guess, was a friggin' what was he? Friggin' writer or some shit. Yeah, but they were still getting hated on. Lois Lane clowned him, right? Lois Lane clowned Clark Kent. You know, she didn't respect his gangster. He was a moving gangster at the end of the day. You know, it's like even though he knew who he was, but he just accepted it. You know what I mean? So that's why we call it Clark Kenton. We got a Clark Kent. Yeah, I'm Clark Kent. You know? Oh, what's your name? Clark. You gotta start telling people your name's Clark. Fuck it. You know what I mean, brothers? Like, whatever. Can I take your name for the order? Oh, it's Clark. Or Tony. You know what I mean? Or Tony. It's Tony. Yeah, it's Tony. I'm Tony. Tony. Or whatever, you know? Because for Tony, was it Tony Parker? Or no, Peter Parker. I said Tony Parker. It was Peter Parker. So I was like, it was Peter. I started telling people it's Peter. So Salakia. Tony Parker is a basketball player. Peter Parker is freaking Spider-Man. Salakia. Made a mistake there. Peter Parker, he was getting shit from the, from what's his name? The guy from the Daily Bugle. Was it Daily Bugle? Yeah, it was Daily Bugle. I forget the guy's name, but you guys know what I'm talking about. The guy with the mustache and shit. And that guy was giving him hell. Always talking shit about Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's a criminal. Spider-Man's a menace, right? But really, Spider-Man was a Jake. Wasn't Spider right? This guy, he's Esau, the accuser of the brethren, right? This guy is Esau. That guy's a menace. He's a criminal. Isn't that what they say about Jake? So Spider-Man is a Jake in the spirit, man. Okay, all these freaking superheroes are Jakes in the spirit, man. X-Men, don't even get me started on X-Men, man. I love X-Men. I'm gonna have to do a video on those guys. All right, because the power that the X-Men have, man, unbelievable, man, unimaginable, unconceivable. Okay. Blue Marvel, I gotta do a video on that too. I think I did on my old channel, but if not, I'm gonna do one on this channel as well. My old channel was years ago, maybe a couple years ago. I lost access to it, so that's why I wasn't able to. It's still up and running, so it's just the same name and not even one, just a name without the number. But yeah, that's besides the point. I'll be right back. Actually, bear with me. Alright, Con, I'm back. I'm back with another one. Alright, so it says equities, the ordinary shares of a limited company carrying certain rights to assets or profit is attested by 1904. And here I did say it was going to be a quick one, but the Spirit's on me at the end of the day. You see how, because look, you'll see. By 1980, it was taken on extended census of sociology, allocating benefits in various policies fields in such a way to provide groups, persons, and places with at least a minimum level of benefits so as to satisfy basic needs. So this is the devil speaking here, because why should you have a minimum level of benefits? You know what I mean? But I'm gonna show the Israelites, starting with Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, is gonna show these heathen with a minimal level of benefits is to satisfy basic needs. You know why? Because guess what? Guess what? The way, even after, because the Mosai eased up on us after slavery. Even though Esau's prejudice is all hell, racist is all hell, right? The Mosai still eased up on us a bit, give us a little bit of rest, and get some korban from time to time and all that, and obviously our women are against us, and you know how it is, but the Lord still eased up on us. It's still hell though. Don't get it twisted. We're still in hell, but the Lord still eased up on us. You motherfuckers are really gonna get the bare minimum. You're only gonna get the slop, the friggin' oatmeal every day. Whatever the hell it is, that's gonna have the essential nutrients and vitamins. That's bland as all hell. Ain't gonna be flavorful. Ain't gonna be sweet. Ain't gonna be nothing but just for you, something for you to eat. See, I just rhymed right there. I could have been a poet. Maybe I am one. I don't know. Let's see. We're going back. So, wow, I got all of that from this verse right here. Verse 3. For I am always aware of your unfailing love, and I have lived according to your truth. I do not spend time with liars or go along with hypocrites. Yeah, man. You can't be with a hypocrite. That shit, yeah. That's plain. I hate the gatherings of those who do evil, and I refuse to join with the wicked, right? The scriptures talk about wide is the gate, wide is the way that leadeth to destruction, roughly paraphrasing. I wash my hands to declare my innocence. I come to your altar, O Lord Yahweh, singing a song of thanksgiving and telling of all your wonders. I love your sanctuary, Lord Yahweh, the place where your glorious presence dwells. Don't let me suffer the fate of sinners. Don't condemn me along with murderers. Their hands are dirty with evil schemes. They constantly take bribes. But I am not like that. I live with integrity. Right? So redeem me and show me mercy. That's exactly what we need. Right? We live with integrity. And just because you live with integrity in this world doesn't mean you're perfect, but you live with an upright mind. You strive to do good. To be the perfect. You know what I mean? Our righteousness are filthy rags. I don't mean to dwell on that. I'm not dwelling on it. I'm just keeping the balance. But we are perfect in the sense to the Most High if we are the elect. And Israel really, even though they're wicked, we're all wicked. We're still perfect unto the Most High. Especially in the kingdom when He makes us perfect. We're still the apple of His eye. You know what I mean? From the greatest to the least. And really, the greatest is starting with the elect. Okay, it's not starting with the least that are stars in this world right now. They're the lead. They're going to be the least in the kingdom. Okay, you see the crackhead Jake that you see, they're going to be above those guys in the kingdom. Okay, I'm talking about your Jay-Z's, your Drakes, your Future, whoever you look up to as that's an Israelite in this world. All right, a crackhead bum is going to be higher than them. Israelite, quote unquote Israelite, not quote unquote bum, is going to be higher than them in the kingdom of heaven. They're going to be restored and renewed in their right mind. Okay. So redeem me and show me mercy. Now I stand on solid ground, and I will publicly praise the Lord Yahweh. All right. So with that, I'm gonna give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Lord, will you're edified. I'm gonna say shalom, and to the next one.